Hello and welcome. I am Pranay Upadhyay and you are watching Namaste World, your daily window into the biggest stories shaping India and the world. We begin in South Asia, where India launches a 45,000 crore mission to turbocharge exports and boost MSME globally. In Russia, Russia's claim that it has busted an ISI-run spy network targeting top-secret defense technology, raising serious questions about Pakistan's covert ambitions. Across the border, Intel warns of a new elite threat emerging through Bangladesh amid rising Dhaka-Islamabad ties. And the biggest story of the day, Bangladesh Chief Adviser Muhammad Yunus has called a nationwide referendum on the controversial July Charter, deepening political tensions amid Awami League protests and uncertain reforms. All that and more, global flashpoints, power plays and the stories that matters, coming up in this edition of Namaste World. In a televised address, Bangladesh Chief Adviser Muhammad Yunus has announced a referendum on July Charter, a so-called reform blueprint drafted after last year's deadly student uprising that toppled Prime Minister Sheikh Hasina's Awami League government. The address to nation by the interim administrator of Bangladesh came at a time when Awami League is holding nationwide protest against Muhammad Yunus' government's bid to prosecute former Prime Minister Sheikh Hasina. Yunus reiterated that parliamentary elections remain on track for February 2026 and will be free and fair. The charter signed by most political parties in October aims to overhaul state institutions, but the National Citizens Party, formed by the uprising leaders, boycotted it, citing the absence of any binding legal framework. Supporters call it a foundation for change, while critics say that this is only a symbolic step without parliamentary or constitutional backing. With trust still fragile, the referendum timing and impact remains uncertain. India has launched a massive 45,000 crore export push, slashing credit costs, boosting MSME financing and expanding global market access and funding a nationwide Made in India branding drive. With cheaper loans, collateral-free credits and new trade opportunities, the government wants exporters to hit $1 trillion. But can this ambitious mission truly transform India's global trade power? Here is a report by Farhan Khan.
The Indian government has just approved a massive 45,000 crore rupees or about $5.1 billion worth of export push. Think of it as a turbo boost for India's exporters, especially the small and medium ones struggling with high credit costs, tariffs and global market disruptions. The aim? Make India's goods more competitive abroad, expand into new markets and march closer to that ambitious $1 trillion export target. At the heart of this initiative is the brand new Export Promotion Mission, a long-term plan that will run over 6 years and cost around 25,000 crore rupees or about $3 billion. The mission has two big components, Niryat Protsahan and Niryat Disha. This part focuses on cutting the cost of borrowing for exporters, especially MSMEs or micro, small and medium enterprises. It does so through interest subvention, basically a government-funded subsidy on loan interest rates. Now, the exact subvention rate hasn't been fixed yet, but officials say it will likely range between 2% and 3% and could even go up to 3.5% for riskier markets. Under this, exporters will also get access to export credit cards, deep-tier financing and factoring support. So even suppliers and small producers in the export chain get cheaper finance. It's like giving oxygen not just to the exporters but also to those who supply them. Alongside the Export Promotion Mission, the cabinet has also cleared a 20,000 crore rupees or around $2.4 billion worth of credit guarantee scheme. Through this, India's National Credit Guarantee Trustee Company will provide 100% credit coverage to banks that lend to exporters. This means exporters, especially small ones, can now borrow without collateral, making it easier to stay liquid and expand operations. Now, while Niryat Protsahan makes finance cheaper, Niryat Disha focuses on expanding India's market access. Exporters will get financial assistance for testing, certification and audits, helping them meet the complex standards set by importing countries. The government will also fund buyer-seller meets, trade fairs and global product demonstrations, the kind of events where Indian exporters can directly connect with overseas buyers. There's even support for logistics, like moving goods from far-flung areas to ports and for building shared export warehouses, to cut storage and fulfillment costs. And it's not just about moving goods. It's also about building a strong brand. The mission will back a unified national branding campaign to promote Made in India products globally. Think of it as giving Indian exports a strong visual and market identity, from packaging and marketing to digital promotion, making them instantly recognizable in international markets. So why this push now? India's exporters have been hit by global tariff volatility, slowing demand and rising logistics costs. The government believes this package can reduce some of those pressures by improving access to affordable credit, reducing risk, and opening up new market opportunities. It's also a smart move to diversify exports beyond traditional markets like the US and Europe and tap emerging regions in Africa, Latin America, and East Asia. For smaller businesses, this could mean the difference between struggling to survive and being able to compete globally. With a combined outlay of over $5.1 billion, the government's export mission is both ambitious and strategic. If implemented well, it could help India move closer to its trillion-dollar export dream while putting the Made in India tag on the global map like never before. With Farhan Khan, Bureau Report, India Today Global.
Russia claims it has busted an ISI-run spy network trying to steal advanced air defense and helicopter technology, including systems tied to India's S-400 program. Moscow has arrested a Russian national with classified documents, while Pakistan has dismissed the allegations as baseless. But as the probe widens, how far was this operation meant to go? Here is a report by Rudrashish Kanjilal.
In a dramatic counter-espionage operation, Russia says it has dismantled a spy network allegedly run by Pakistan's Inter-Service Intelligence, or the ISI. The network, according to Russian investigations, was attempting to smuggle out sensitive air defense and military helicopter technology from within Russia itself. A Russian national has been arrested in St. Petersburg, caught, as officials describe, red-handed with classified material. Those documents, investigators say, contained critical data linked to the development of Russian military helicopters and advanced air defense systems, including the Mi-8AM TSHV and its Arctic variant, the Mi-8AM TSHV-VA. The former, known as the Terminator, is a modernized military transport and assault helicopter, a key asset in Russia's air mobility fleet. Its Arctic version is specially designed for polar missions, with reinforced insulation, advanced heating systems, and long-range fuel tanks that let it fly through some of its harshest conditions on Earth. But the significance of this alleged espionage mission goes far beyond helicopter blueprints. Officials believe the ISI was after technologies tied to Russia's sophisticated air defense system, the very systems that India has purchased and deployed under its S-400 missile defense program. These Russian-made S-400s played a decisive role in India's Operation Sindoor, where the Indian Air Force demonstrated unmatched precision and dominance over enemy airspace. For Pakistan's intelligence networks, that technological gap has become an obsession and a vulnerability. Operation Sindoor marked a turning point. India's offensive destroyed multiple Jaish-e-Mohammed training camps deep inside Pakistan. It was a blow that reshaped the strategic balance and exposed how far behind Pakistan's own defenses had fallen. Months later, Russian counterintelligence unearthed what they now describe as the first such ISI mission targeting Russian soil. The suspect's goal: to obtain sensitive documents that could help replicate or counter India's S-400 advantage. Investigators are now tracing connections between the arrested Russian national and a wider ISI network that may have been operating covertly under diplomatic or business covers. Russia remains India's closest military supplier and a partner in critical technologies, from fighter aircraft to air defense systems. If confirmed, an ISI-led operation on Russian territory risks creating deep mistrust between Moscow and Islamabad and strengthening New Delhi's security hand even further. The revelation also comes against a grim backdrop in India. Around the same time, Delhi's Red Fort was rocked by a deadly blast that killed at least 12 people and injured more than 24. Investigators linked that attack to Pakistan-based terror group Jaish-e-Mohammed, led by Masood Azhar. The same organization crippled during Operation Sindoor. As interrogation continues, intelligence analysts in Moscow are piecing together how the ISI's operatives gained access to Russian defense circles and who else might be involved. Sources suggest the probe could expand to other countries where Russian technology is at risk of being copied or traded through black market channels. The alleged ISI operation represents a bold, risky escalation, a bid to breach one of the most tightly guarded military ecosystems in the world. And while the arrest in St. Petersburg may have halted this attempt, the incident raises new questions about how far Pakistan's intelligence apparatus is willing to go in pursuit of military parity. With Rudrishish Kanjilal, Bureau Report, India Today Global.
Intelligence agencies warn that Hafiz Saeed may be plotting a new terror front against India using Bangladesh as a launchpad. With Pakistani warships docking in Chittagong, top generals visiting Dhaka, and radical networks reportedly expanding, Bangladesh-Pakistan ties are shifting fast. Is Dhaka now drifting towards a partnership that threatens India's security? Here is a report by Shaurik Saha.
Intelligence agencies have sounded the alarm. Lashkar-e-Taiba chief Hafiz Saeed is planning to open a new front against India. And the launchpad could be none other than Bangladesh. Yes, the same Bangladesh that India once helped liberate from Pakistan in 1971. Bangladesh is now quietly cozying up to Islamabad once again. The timing couldn't be alarming. Just days ago, Pakistan's Navy Chief Admiral Naveed Ashraf landed in Dhaka for a 4-day visit, while a Pakistani naval ship, the PNS Saeed, docked at Bangladesh's main port in Chattogram. It's the first Pakistani warship to enter Bangladeshi waters since the 1971 Liberation War. That's not just symbolic, it's historic. And for India, it's deeply worrying. Adding fuel to the fire, a senior Lashkar-e-Taiba commander, Saifullah Saif, publicly declared that Hafiz Saeed is preparing to attack India through Bangladesh. The clip from his rally in Pakistan's Khairpur Tamewali has gone viral. And if even part of it is true, the threat isn't just rhetoric anymore. Reports suggest that Hafiz Saeed's close aide, Allama Ibtasim Ilahi Zahir, secretly visited Bangladesh in late October, meeting radical groups in border areas like Rajashahi and Chowpi Nawabganj. He allegedly urged local youth to embrace jihad, calling for unity from Pakistan to Bangladesh against secular and liberal forces. Zahir's trip coincided with another high-level visit from Pakistan's Joint Chief of Staff Chairman, General Shahid Shamshad Mirza, who arrived in Dhaka with a military delegation. From naval ships to strategic meetings, Pakistan and Bangladesh seem to be rebuilding the very ties India once helped destroy. Back in 1971, India bled to help Bangladesh break free from Pakistan's brutal rule. It gave shelter to millions, fought a war, and helped birth a new nation. And yet, 50 years later, Dhaka now seems to be embracing the same Pakistan it once fought against. Has Bangladesh already forgotten its history? Experts say the growing proximity between Dhaka and Islamabad could open new corridors for terror infiltration into India's east, especially as groups like Lashkar-e-Taiba and Jamaat-ud-Dawa quietly expand their presence inside Bangladesh. With trade reopening, visa-free travel talks, and joint defense cooperation, Pakistan's outreach is clear to turn Bangladesh into a strategic ally and possibly a strategic weapon. For India, the message is simple. Vigilance is not optional. A new friendship is forming next door, and behind the handshakes and photo ops may lie something far more dangerous. As Bangladesh rediscovers its ties with Pakistan, is Bangladesh really forgetting the blood, sacrifice, and friendship that gave it freedom? With Sharik Shah, Bureau Report, India Today Global.
As we wrap up today's show, here is a quick look at the top stories making waves around the world. US Secretary of State Marco Rubio calls the Delhi blast a clear terrorist attack. He praised India's calm and professional response, saying the country is capable of handling the probe independently, though the United States has offered assistance if needed. A light truck plowed through a crowded South Korean market, killing 2 and injuring 18 as police investigate a sudden acceleration claims. India's air chief lands a C-130J at a new Ladakh airbase near China border, signaling heightened strategic capabilities despite ongoing mistrust. Trump ends 43 days US government shutdown after Congress passes short-term funding bill restoring federal operations nationwide. And that brings us to the end of today's edition of Namaste World. From breakthroughs in technology and businesses to political developments and natural disasters. Stay tuned as we bring you the latest updates, key developments, and more from New Delhi to New York. See you again tomorrow at the same time right here on Namaste World.